Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If becoming a mangaka in One Piece world. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 311, Memories. A legendary chapter. After what he did in the Enies lobby, a terrible silence followed everywhere in the world. At this point, Rob made another move that caught the eye of the viewers. He took out the Enies lobby volume from his inventory, which seemed to have appeared in his hand out of nowhere, and then opened it. He went straight to the last page of O'Hara's flashback, in the scene where Robin finally gets on her small boat. Then he turned up the book to show its content to viewers. I have to apologize if I showed my face at some point where most of you have not finished reading this epic yet. You don't have to bother yourself with me anymore. We'll take a temporary break, you can come back to finish it. Rob knew this well. After all, it's not surprising that art points stopped flowing to him all of a sudden. His appearance on a live broadcast must have disturbed the reader's enjoyment. Hearing his words, the five elders gritted their teeth until cracking sounds were heard. Emma laughed so hard that tears came out of her eyes as a result. Garp, Roger, Whitebeard, Shiki, Linlin, even Kaido, and most of the famous pirates laughed hard at this. As for the hunters like Isho, Mihawk, Broggy, Dory, Daffy, Enel, Rosinante, and the rest of the hunters, their reaction was very quiet. Because what Rob showed at this moment was the page that contained the suffering scene of Princess Robin. Scenes like this couldn't make them laugh. They only know what their leader is feeling right now. Most viewers found it a great opportunity to continue reading the manga. But at this moment, a soft song resounded from the art store that made everyone's flesh spiky. Olive, start playing Memories in all art stores, right now. N/B, Makiatsuki. Understood. In front of the reader's eyes, the scenes drawn on paper come alive in their minds, due to the song. Chisana koro anaiwa takara no chisugie. Adama no naka niu candiite. Itsudimo segashita kasiki no basho wa. Shiranai darika ni makaniu ni la 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 la. Degree. The 8-year-old Nico Robin had just boarded the small boat on the icy path with tragedies on her back that no kid of her age could bear. Her eyes had almost dried from all the tears she had cried today. In her mind, Professor Clover's voice echoed. This is the world's greatest library. And again. Do you like books? Over and over again, delightful memories flashed in her mind. Today is Robin's birthday. Congratulations, Robin. Congrats. We got you a cake, too. A cake. It was one of those rare days when she had a real smile. This time the Buster Call's flames burned everything in sight, and only a gentle giant was left holding her in his big hand and chanting. Be proud, Robin. O'Hara is honorable. Her memories changed again to show the face of a woman who had always wanted to sleep in her arms and experience her warmth. We shouldn't give up on the future that you'll be living in. The giant's delightful laughter echoed back in her mind. Dereshishishi. So just laugh. When you have a hard time, just laugh. I'd be an idiot if I laugh when I have a hard time. Despite her weeping face, a hard smile formed on her face, showing off her pearly white teeth, and she began to laugh strangely like that kind giant. Dereshishi. Dereshi, cough. Sob. Dereshishishi. Loudly crying face. Uwa-wa-ah. The sound of artillery and the fierce fires that consumed everything in O'Hara behind her covered her sad crying voice. But it did not cover up the voices that appeared in her head. It sounded like 3 voices in one. 2 were familiar, one of Saul and another one of her mother, Alvia. But the third man's voice sounded unfamiliar no matter how hard she tried to remember. Somewhere out there, in the sea. You will surely meet your nakama, Robin. Suddenly, Her body was covered in a bright golden light, which drove away the feeling of coldness and brought her a warm feeling, which warmed not only her body but even her heart. Behind her back, two angel souls appeared and hugged her in an amazing family scene that broke the hearts of millions of readers across the pirate world. The two golden angels were Rob and Alvia. The first character is the father and the most powerful man of the current age. Nothing about him appears in the manga, in which appeared twice. He is the author of the manga and only appeared twice. The first time, his face appeared when Alvia remembered him. And the second time, he appeared in a soul form. The fact of his death was confirmed in the manga by this. This is what many people do not understand how. Who is the formidable enemy who was able to kill Sky Sword in the manga and has not yet done so in reality? The second character is the mother, Nico Alvia, who just passed away in the Ohara incident. There is no doubt that their appearance as two angel souls in the world of the living has a great image that shows how much they love their daughter, who was going through the hardest time ever in her life. Memories with a female voice echoed across all art stores for the first time in the pirate world. The tears of the manga readers did not stop flowing, as this song was repeated over and over again. People's emotional barriers were broken, whether they were men or women, old or young. On Women's Island, Shikoyaku just wiped her tears, but the tears soon came back to wet her beautiful face. She tried again, but each time she had to wipe her tears again. The sight of little Robin escaping from the pursuit of the Navy and the government agents from island to island caused her to cry without even knowing it. Seeing a little girl laughing sweetly despite feeling cold and hungry affected her most primal emotions. Same for Dayton and the rest of the women at Amazon Lily. It can be said that this day will go down in history as the global day of crying. The condition of the rest of the islands was no better, even at Marigoa, or hearing the voices of pigs and humans crying from time to time. Even among the evil-hearted pirates, most of those who witnessed this event cried like babies. At the same time, their hatred of the government increased exponentially. It can be said that the people of Ohara are the most affected by this arc. Specifically a few certain people inside the art store. Goddess's store. Rob's wives. A giant in human size. Saul. And a mother and her daughter inside the private section. The picture of her father holding the manga book was reflected in her big eyes, but she could definitely see the contents of the last page. Although she did not understand what was going on, she was smart enough to see how much love her mother and her father were giving her at this moment. Tears fall out of her big eyes, and she replied with a cute smile. "Thank you, Daddy, thank you, Mommy, for being alive for me." Chapter 312, The Third Slap on the Face of the World Government. Sogeking's shocking move. The young man Crocodile looked at the last scene in Robin's backstory where he'd recruited Nico Robin because he cared about her ability to read the poneglyphs. Of course, for his grand plan about Alabasta. Now, because it has been revealed in the manga, Alabasta has disappeared and he has joined Dragon in the Revolutionary Army and become the chief of staff. Everything is different from what it should have been. The next moment veins appeared on his forehead when he remembered that all. Then he tried to tear up the manga book but he couldn't. He did not believe that there were people who had suffered more than him in this world until he saw Nico Robin's suffering. This scene caught the attention of Dragon and the others to him. "Don't bother yourself by trying. That book is invincible, you might cut your hand, Croco," Dragon said. "Shut up," Crocodile responded angrily. "The men of government really deserve to die." Mihawk's hawk eyes flashed with a sharp light. Even Isho, who was beside him, and Dragon and Crocodile who were close to him sensed a sharp aura trying to tear them apart at this moment. "This Conqueror Haki. Do you own it, too?" "No wonder," Dragon said with admiration. Like Crocodile, Mihawk remembered something bad from his past when he sees Robin's backstory. It can be said that similar people can feel each other and understand each other well. "What are you going to do now, guys?" "I need to go inside the art store to read the volume, I'm a blind man after all." Hearing this wonderful song without reading the manga is not fun. "Yeah, we can understand. You can go, Isho-san. We don't want to make a fuss in public." You'll find us on the other side of the island with Brooke when you're done reading today's update. As soon as he said that, Dragon and Crocodile turned into a gust of wind and sand and flew away towards the west of O'Hara. East Blue. Inside Syrup's art store? Tears stained Banshina's face, and even her husband, Yassip, was crying like a kid. Truthfully, this flashback is a very touching epic. I've never felt so sad before, Yassip said before hugging his weeping wife tightly, trying to rest her. Will our son be able to contribute to saving Robin? Maybe. Who knows? We just have to read the manga to find out. Don't you trust our son? No, it's not like that. It's just, even if he's weak, I have faith in my son. I'm sure he'll help save Robin. Even Yassip was touched by how much his wife trusted their future son. Maybe he would. Oh. Before he could finish what he was going to say, Yassip was interrupted by loud cheers from many readers. What's happening? Yassip and Banshina looked at the roaring crowd in astonishment. Oh my god. He really did it. Why do I have this feeling of déjà vu? Idiot. Rob-sama did the same thing a few minutes ago. BFT. Ahahahaha. Another slap in the face of the government. King. He's really a king, this Sogeking. I got goosebumps all over my body, guys. I'm probably going to die from too much enthusiasm. Even if I die, I'll be happy. Oh my gosh. How cool they are, Straw Hats. Even if they knew how huge the enemy behind Robin was, they didn't hesitate for a moment before declaring war against the world government. After hearing all of that, Banshina and Yassip both focused on the manga's events again. After all, the art store screen entered a pause mode. All this and the wonderful song, Memory, still rings in the ears of the readers. Every time it ends, it comes back to start over again. Equals 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 equals. The manga events. After returning to reality and reeling from those memories that weighed down her heart for years, Nico Robin saw in front of her the same sight from which she tried to escape. On the other side opposite her, stood 6 partners she loved with all her heart. In fact, she's starting to associate the Straw Hats with the Nakama that Saul, her mother, Alvia, and this mysterious man said she'll find them up someday. They actually stood up to protect her while not caring about anything else. But after remembering who her enemies were, that false hope had been shattered, she took a deep breath and exclaimed in frustration. The more I wish to be with you, the more my fate will bear its fangs at you. No matter what sea I go to, I have this great foe that I can't shake. The expressions on Zoro, Sanji, Chopper, Luffy, and Sojking's faces didn't change. Only Nami felt sad for Robin. Robin's voice lowered a little and continued to speak. 'Cause my enemy is the world and its darkness. Behind the mask of indifference, she added, with immense sadness. First, the incident with Akiji. And now, this. I've gotten you involved twice already. If this goes on forever, even good-natured people like you will eventually consider me a burden. In time, you'll betray and jilt me. That's what I'm most afraid of. That's why I didn't want you to come and save me. Even though she was saying those words, deep inside her heart she was wishing that they would not trust her and come forward to save her. Maybe if those 3 people's words were true, she finally would have a real Nakama who they would protect her and love her. And maybe she wouldn't have to die. Right? Nevertheless, she continued to say the opposite of what she wanted. At this point, she herself did not know what she was saying, as if her tongue was moving automatically. If it's a life that I'll eventually lose, I want to just die right here, right now. Yes, maybe dying here would be a good option for her. She wouldn't have to suffer. And maybe she would go to a place where she could feel that warm feeling again. Like how felt on that cold night when those 2 kind angels hugged her. Robin-chan. Robin. At this point, Sanji and Chopper's anger reached insane levels. As for Luffy, he didn't say anything, and just kept silent and listened. So that's how it is. As for Zoro, he was finally convinced of Robin's honesty. In one moment he forgave her for everything that had happened before. Now, he thinks she did it all in order to protect the crew. This attitude raised her value in the vice captain's opinion by several degrees. But the Straw Hat's thoughts were disturbed by the boisterous laughter of the ass-faced Spandam. Wahahahaha. I see. That's so true. Of course. No one could think you're not a burden with all your problems. Wahahaha. Having said that to Robin, he turned to meet the Straw Hats and proudly raised his finger to point at the proud flag that flutters in the sky. Look at that symbol, pirates. That mark represents the unity of over 170 nations. In the 4 seas and the Grand Line. This is the world. The amount of pride in his voice was unbelievable. Being a member of such a world authority was his and his father's pride. He didn't know that in another parallel world he would be the reason for destroying his own life. Do you understand how insignificant you are to stand against us? Do you understand how big of an organization was after her? After hearing all that, Luffy took a deep breath and said softly, I understand Robin's enemy very well. Even without turning around, his eyes focused on the same flag that Rob had destroyed earlier and gave an order to his crew member. After all, Luffy wasn't such a fool not to realize who Sogeking really was. He play idiot just to didn't hurt his friend's pride. Sogeking. HRM? Sogeking looked at Luffy to hear what he wanted. Shoot on that flag. Luffy gave the order that quietly shocked the pirate world. Roger. Sogeking also responded in agreement, which shocked the pirate world even more. Ha! Spandam was shocked by what he had just heard. For a while he thought he had heard it wrong. New weapon, the Great Pachinko. Called Kabuto. Carefully observe its power. Sogeking screamed with the title of his incredible attack. Ultimate Firebird Star. From Sogeking's slingshot, a really fiery bird appeared and headed straight towards the flag, turning it into a fiery flag. Equals 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 equals. In their astonishment, the manga book fell out onto the ground from Banshina and Yasop's hands, and they literally fainted. Because of what they just saw, it was the coolest appearance of their son in the manga series ever. Chapter 313, I Want Alive. Arg. Unforgivable. The roars of the 5 elders resounded across the entire Marigoa. Everyone who heard their roars turned pale and straightened their backs. Even celestial dragons were no exception. This time the rage of the celestial dragons' leaders reached the point of exploding. After a few successive slaps their faces became painfully red with enough to not want to get another one. Before, when Rob destroyed their flag. Despite their anger, someone of Rob's level who destroyed their flag is something they can swallow. He has the strength and prestige to challenge them. This was his way of declaring war. Since he trusted his abilities to overthrow them, so he has the right to try. He wasn't the first, and he won't be the last. But the hell? How does this bastard dare draw the same scene in the manga again? As if he tried to remind them of what he did in the reality? Not only that, he used the entire world government as gravel to walk on by allowing Usopp to burn their flag. This cannot be allowed to pass. We have to act at once. Things have already escalated to this degree. This day will be the beginning of the irreversible war against this bastard. In the end, we'll seize everything that belongs to him and erase his name from history. Activate the red button. To all forces under the world government. Preparing for global war. Target, Emperor of the 4 Seas, King of the Hunters, Rudius D. Arab. New World. Egg's Head Island, in development. On this island of metal structures all over the place, the noise of construction echoed everywhere. This is the base of the world's best scientist, Dr. Vegapunk. Lots of smart robots can be seen doing everything from moving iron rods to digging the ground and installing foundations to delivering resources. Everything literally. This island was the island of technology and is currently under development. Inside one of the main underground factories stood an old man and a young white-haired boy beside him. On the forehead of the young man was written, Punk #1. The white-haired young man was sitting in front of what looked like a giant screen computer. His fingers moved at an abnormal speed on what seemed to be a real keyboard. On the other side, the old man with a steel helmet on the upper half of his face was currently watching Rob's live broadcast via Den Den Mushi's video transmission pinned from Mangaka. Punk #1. Did you know what kind of device he uses to transmit the sound and the picture through his live streaming art stores? The old man spoke in a hoarse voice. No. The white-haired boy answered indifferently. Weird. There's no Den Den Mushi in the world that can transmit sound and picture as well with this high quality. In addition, there is no art store in Ini's lobby to use it as a mediator in the network of art stores. So what is he using? The genius man's suspicions deepen more and more about Rob. Could it be that he acts as a mediator? From art stores to manga and anime to chat rooms and this weird live broadcast. The puzzles associated with Rob seemed like an onion. Every time he removed a layer, he found loads of layers waiting for him. Declaring war against the world government because of the manga you drew with your own hands. What the hell is this crap? Are you a psychopath? But this is interesting. Since you declared war against an entity like the world government, I suppose you have prepared enough to face them in a long battle, right? The world will go into another global war, probably more deadly than the last global war 800 years ago. Punk #1. Putmiko, no, I'm sorry, her name is Rudius D. Robin as a high-risk weak point for Skysword, Rob. Understood. Since you are the author of the famous One Piece manga that is said to be the Bible that invokes the future, I suppose you know a little bit about what the world government has in their hands, right? Don't disappoint me, Sky Sword. Punk #1. Time to create a new clone to help us. What do you think about creating a pretty girl this time? Punk #1. Suddenly, red alarm lights began to illuminate the dark hall. HM? What's happening? For a moment, Dr. Vegapunk was taken aback. But when he saw the red-level recruitment order issued by the world government, he immediately understood what was going on. As expected. It has begun. Maragoa. Fufu yahahaha. After hearing everything Rob said in the live broadcast, a burst of charming laughter echoed in the flower garden. Let me guess. Do you want to destroy my doll? Don't think it would be that easy. A pen and map appeared in Imu's hand, and then without any reservations or unwillingness she marked on Ini's lobby. Let's see how you will survive this, Fufu. Ohara. Yahohoho. Awesome Luffy-san. Sogeking-san. That's really cool. My eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Even though I don't have eyes. Yahohoho. You gotta see this, Laboon. Robin-san's got real nakama who they are ready to challenge the most powerful authority in the world for her. I can understand what she's feeling at this moment, after all that she went through in her childhood. She finally got real friends. As Sol-san, Alvia-san, and Rob-san promised. Suddenly, a wind covered in grains of sand blew on Brook's skull, and the next moment, Dragon and Crocodile appeared beside him. Jaya Island. In the jungle of Jaya. Dr. Hirolik and his team of doctors set up a residence here in order to study the exotic plants in this place before departing to the island that is hidden in the clouds, Shandora, later. For this reason, they encountered the new update of the manga. Inside the art store, Dr. Hirolik was reading the manga and weeping like almost everyone on Jaya. After all, there's no one has read Robin's past and hasn't been moved to tears. But what came next will be immortalized in art history as one of the best dramatic scenes in history. Luffy is a true captain. He doesn't abandon his crewmates even when he knows how huge the enemy behind her is. He's a good man like Noland and Calgara. Hirolik shouted his point of view with all his might so that many people could hear him. equals 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 equals. Manga events. When the flag burned, Spandam's eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets from pure shock. The burning flag was reflected in Robin's shocked eyes before she whispered in amazement, "No way." Then Spandam screamed up like a pig. Ah! Arg! All the Marines and world government agents who witnessed the scene screamed out in absolute shock, some even fainted in shock. They've done it! Do they even understand the meaning of attacking that flag? They've really done it now. Pirates have declared war against the world government. Spandam turned to Luffy and shouted out loud, "Are you bastards insane? Don't you dare to even dream that you'd survive having the world add your enemy." Luffy took a deep breath and then cried out in a stern voice, "I'd be happy to live with that." After hearing this, tears began to flow from Robin's eyes incessantly. Spandam also almost wet his pants due to fear from Luffy. "Robin, I haven't heard it from you yet." Luffy took another breath before shouting out again, "Say you wanna live." Sanji smiled in response as Zoro nodded in tacit agreement with his leader's words. Chopper and Nami yelled Robin's name too. The tension was evident on their faces. Live. Hearing those words, flashbacks began to haunt her again. "You must not live in this world, Robin." These were the words of a pirate who had been arrested by the Navy for his involvement with her. "Your mere existence is your greatest sin, Robin." These were the words of a mafia leader who was implicated because of her as well. I thought it was something I couldn't wish for. Tears did not stop falling from her eyes. But this time, the reason for her crying was not because of her rejection from society, but because it was difficult to believe that there was someone who welcomed her and her wrong existence. "Nobody has ever allowed me that. I want to die. The ocean is vast. So someday surely you'll find Nakama that'll protect you. Robin, maybe you don't know who I'm, but I know who you are. You are the cutest creature in the world. Trust in yourself." Suddenly, a picture of a gentleman appeared in her mind, resembling her a bit, but with yellow eyes and black hair. When he said those words, the confusion vanished from her mind and her heart as if it had never existed before. Even Usopp had want Robin to believe in Luffy at this point. After hearing the mysterious man's words, she began to mutter internally, "If I can really declare my wish, I..." With warm tears covering her face, she was finally able to declare her true desire with all her might. "I want to live. Take me with you to the ocean." Upon hearing that, the Straw Hats finally smiled. Even Frankie couldn't stop his tears from flowing like a torrent. After all, he was deeply moved. WOH, I love you guys, damn it. Equals 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 equals. This scene, in particular, was recorded in the pages of history and immortalized as the best manga page that drew blood and tears from readers, and the most influential of all. Chapter 314, Destroy the Blueprints of Pluton. Manga events. Chopper looked at the bridge below and noticed that he was starting to relate with the other side. The drawbridge is lowering. Sanji was also satisfied with the carpenters and the Frankies. I guess they've done their job well. As for Usopp, who had been disguised as Sogeking, he could no longer suppress his excitement. I'm trembling from the excitement. At this moment, Kaku finally noticed the bridge that was lowering. They're coming. Zoro grabbed his sword, showing a demonic face. Hurry up and lower it. Even Nami, who was beside him, was tense due to Zoro's fearsome appearance at this moment. What an evil face. On the other hand, instead of being angry at the turn of events, a smile of excitement appeared on Rob Lucci's face. Spandam almost fainted from fear. Gaia, don't come. Luffy snapped his fingers before he announced with an enthusiastic smile on his face. Here we go. Equals 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 equals. This scene got the people of Ohara who were ashamed of themselves for being bad with Robin in the manga to get excited again. They had just come out of the vortex of sad and emotional events, but soon the exciting events came back to knock their minds with great scenes. It wasn't just Luffy and his buddies who were enthusiastic, all the manga readers around the world were as well. Even an earth-shaking event like Rob's declaration of war on live broadcast a few minutes ago was quickly ignored temporarily. This is because the One Piece manga has an endless amount of shocking events that come one after the other, especially in this arc. And the next shocking thing, to say the least, is epic. Catastrophic. Massive. Oh my god. He did it. How? How? He really destroyed the blueprints. After most readers were disturbed by the scene of the bridge stopping lowered to the other side and disrupting the perfect flow of events, another shocking scene came along. Equals 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 equals. Manga events. Frankie, who seemed to have already taken off his handcuffs, stood up and looked fiercely at Spandam, who was holding Robin. Spandam was shocked when he saw the thing Frankie had taken out. Eh? Is that? It can't be. The blueprints for the ancient weapon Pluton? A wry smile appeared on Frankie's face before he spoke. It's the real deal. Can you believe it? Luke Chi. Kaku. You both should know too, right? Luke Chi had shocked when he sees the blueprints and starts to think of a way to get them out of Frankie's hand before the latter destroys them. The same goes for Kaku, who spoke. I can't believe it. You bastard. You were keeping it inside your body this whole time? Spandam immediately got nervous and started trying to get Frankie to give him the blueprints. The real thing? It's the real thing? Hand it over. Hand it over to me. Hand over the blueprints I've always wanted. Frankie didn't even bother himself to look at the moron Spandam, but instead looked at Robin and spoke. Robin. There are rumors all around the world that you wish to abuse the power of the weapons. But I know you're not a demon. What the shipwrights of Water 7 inherited over generations were the skills to create weapons. So, I'd like to take a gamble here. I bet there's only one way for me to fulfill the wishes of the designer right now. Spandam shouted again, unable to bear hearing Frankie's incomprehensible nonsense. I'm getting tired of your yammering. Hand it over. That there is mine. But before he finished, the scene in front of him shocked him to the point that his eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. Frankie breathed fire from his mouth and burned the blueprints of the ancient weapon to ashes. Equals 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 equals. As if what had happened so far wasn't enough, this scene came to slap the five elders once more. But this time, after they passed the war readiness order, they didn't care what happened in the manga anymore. They'll make sure this is the last volume Rob draws in his life. From now on, they'll continue drawing the One Piece manga by themselves and in their way. What a tough cyborg. Burning the blueprints of an ancient weapon is a decision not everyone can do. A smile appeared on old Vegapunk's face as he looked at the scene of Frankie burning the blueprints. Truth be told, he was also shocked. He didn't expect Frankie to do such a bold and decisive thing. After all, as a scientist and shipbuilder in his own right, he can say that Frankie's desire to study and craft what's in the blueprints is far greater than anyone else's. But could he have destroyed them? What if what he destroyed is only one copy of the blueprints? As a genius scientist, Dr. Vegapunk's mind cannot be freed from doubts. That is what distinguishes thinkers. Eni's lobby. After he paused the live broadcast, Rob turned into sparks of lightning and disappeared from his spot. The next moment, he appeared near the two giants, Oimo and Kashiai.
His appearance surprised the two giants. "Who are you, small man?" Oimo asked curiously.
Rob was 280 centimeters tall, but that wasn't enough before the real giants, so maybe they have the right to call him the small man.
"Hello, Oimo, Kashii, looks like you two spent a lot of time here." Rob smiled and walked toward the two giants. "Nah, Oimo. Doesn't this small man look like the one who appeared in Robin's memories?" Kashii asked, confused. "Ah. You're right, Kashii."
Indeed, Rob's face has appeared several times in the manga, so it is not surprising that someone who has just read the manga has noticed the similarity between what appeared in the manga and what is in front of them. Since their main task was to guard the main Enies lobby gate, the two giants didn't care about the recent trending news, so they didn't know about Rob, who was one of the main players in the world besides the Navy and the Pirate King. Except for getting the manga, One Piece/Bleach, they didn't care about any world news.
"I'm Rob. Nico Robin's dad. And the boss of Broggy and Dory."
Before he finished his words, Rob noticed that the sky above Enies lobby had turned dark gray, as if something very huge had appeared behind the clouds, and because of it the perpetual day on the island had turned into the night.
Chapter 315, Enies Lobby End. What's the matter with this huge shadow? How can this place turn so dark?
Oimo and Kashii said with shocking expressions.
Suddenly, that weird island-sized shadow began to glow with a light resembling sunlight. As if a new sun had appeared right above Enies lobby, and then in the next moment dense bundles of energy bombarded every part of the island until there was nothing left of it. The scene returned to what it was before in front of Rob. He saw all this massive destruction that had just happened using his advanced observation haki. He saw what was going to happen in about a minute. Rob immediately frowned. "Olive, play the live broadcast again," Rob ordered internally. "Oimo. Kashii. Prepare for what's coming. Don't worry, I'll save you too."
Rob turned into lightning and started moving toward the enormous shadow in the sky. He has to stop that huge shadow from blowing up Enies lobby at all costs. I don't understand how you think, world government's head.
But do you seriously think you're going to kill me with this weapon? Today, I'll show you. And the whole world, who Rob really is.
The thing Rob is facing right now is exactly what happened in chapter 1060 of the One Piece manga. A mysterious weapon designed to wipe out any existence in sight. With the return of the live broadcast again, readers' attention has been caught. Even people who don't follow the manga have been drawn to the live broadcast this time. Because at this moment, Enies lobby appeared in a different sight than it was before. The atmosphere seemed dark and cloudy and contained a touch of melancholy. Rob appeared beside the famous giants Oimo and Kashii, looking up above in amazement. Only Rob was looking very alert, as if he already knew what was behind the clouds. Suddenly, Rob moved and startled many people. Rob turned into pure lightning and moved through the air at lightning speed toward the dark thing behind the clouds. In a formidable scene, the sky above the Enies lobby started to glow so badly that the people behind the live broadcast had to partially close their eyes.
"Oh Hara! Oh my gosh! What's going on in Enies lobby? Didn't Rob-sama give us some time to finish reading the manga? Why did the broadcast suddenly come back?" The gloomy atmosphere surrounding Enies lobby does not bode well. Inside the art store,
Toki stared in shock at the store screen and started to panic.
"No, it can't happen. Rob-sama, you need to get out of there quickly."
When the sky above Enies lobby started to glow intensely, Toki's body started to shiver as she remembered the same scene that had happened long ago.
"What's going on, Toki-san? Why do you have this panicked reaction?" Even Sora, Otoheim, Bella, and Glora panicked a little now. Everything happened so suddenly that they couldn't comprehend what was happening yet.
He has to get out of there quickly. No human can challenge the power of a god. The world government came out with everything they had against Rob-sama in the beginning. They wished to erase him with Enies lobby. When Alvia and little Robin came out of the private section, the first thing they heard was Toki's words.
"Mama! What will happen to Dad?"
In Alvia's arms, Robin's eyes began to water with tears when she heard that her dad was in danger. You don't have to worry about your dad, Robin-chan. No one in this world has the strength to hurt your dad more than the One Piece manga he's drawing. The sheer confidence in Alvia's smiling face affected Robin and the rest of Rob's women as well. Alvia turned to watch the live broadcast inside the art store with unparalleled confidence on her face. Just watch. Mihawk, Aisho, Sol, Enel, Daffy, and Rosinante left the manga books aside and watched the live broadcast with stunned expressions on their faces. The same for every hunter who was able to see the live broadcast all over the world. Is this the government's response? Aisho said. Will the war begin in such a grandiose way? Mihawk added. On the other side of O'Hara. I don't understand how you think, world government's head. But do you seriously think you are going to kill me with this weapon? Today, I'll show you, and the whole world, who Rob really is. Brook, Dragon, and Crocodile all stood silently watching the live broadcast. What happened on this day should go down in the annals of history, because on no day can such incredible sights be seen. What's this shadow above Eni's lobby? The expression on Dragon's face was sullen when he heard what Rob had just said. At first, he wasn't sure that the world government had actually acted, but when Rob confirmed this, there was no room for doubt. What's going on? No way. Back at Eni's lobby. Before Rob reached the glowing thing, a lot of huge, dense bundles of scorching white energy started spreading out from under the clouds. Like a strand of rain from the sky, beams of white energy fell on every inch of Eni's lobby. An island-sized blast ball formed, swallowing up everything in sight. Buildings turned to dust. The seawater and the waterfall turned into steam. Thousands of Marines and government agents turned into a mist of blood. Eni's lobby. The famous judicial island has disappeared from the map as if it never existed before. The live broadcast was still showing the horrible scenes as it is. From different sides the live broadcast showed the state of Eni's lobby from almost every possible angle. The system was effective in professionally transmitting sound and pictures. In the Big Mom lands, Lin, who was going to Eni's lobby with Katakuri, got off from the ship and changed her plans. After all, there is no longer Eni's lobby in this world to go to. It's the same attack that wiped God's Valley off the map at that time. Things escalated quickly. I hope my ally is fine. The look on Lin's beautiful face looked incomparably terrified. Garp, Whitebeard, Roger, Rayleigh, and Shaki, those people who had seen the same attack before, took a deep breath and wished Rob was safe. Kaido and Shiki laughed out loud at Rob's plight and wished for his death in the explosion. After all, even their former captain, the strongest pirate in history, Rox D. Zebex, died the same way after his losing battle against Garp and Roger. Chapter 316, Ulquiorra template appears. Oh my god, what am I seeing? They can't. The government can't do this. Why would they destroy Eni's lobby? Currently, thousands of soldiers who have families exist there. Sengoku narrowed his gaze as he watched the scene of devastation that no human mind could possibly comprehend. The white blast ball was melting everything in Eni's lobby, and a massive sea earthquake formed that split the sea in a scene from the apocalypse. Huge tsunami waves appeared, even the Aqua Laguna in front of them will be like a child learning to walk. The tsunami waves, with a height of 5 kilometers, began to spread in all directions away from the center of the explosion. The natural thing is that it is impossible to survive such a catastrophe. But Garp and Zephyr stared at the screen with cold expressions at this moment. They knew how evil the world government was, but this time, they saw the true extent of their evilness. The sacrifice of thousands of innocent lives and an important government island in order to kill one person. Damn! Garp gritted his teeth angrily. He hadn't even expected in his dreams to see such a cruel scene today. He remembered that fateful day 11 years ago when the same thing happened, as the world government sacrificed a government island of celestial dragons in order to kill Rox D. Zebex. History repeats itself. Sigh. Who will complete the manga of One Piece if Rob dies? Zephyr sighed, unable to calm his body from trembling. Even he, with his strong body at the level of an admiral, wouldn't be able to withstand that blast even for a few seconds and would turn into a mist of blood, which was why he expected Rob's death. You underestimate that guy. All they've done now is throw themselves into a fire pit. They didn't expect Rob to replay the live broadcast to expose them, nor did they expect Rob to be daring enough to go with that weapon to confront him head-on. Asterisk. Gar paused for a while, glanced at his fellow Sengoku who looked like a man who had lost his soul, sighed, and continued.
I think they used the ancient weapon. Uranus.
Borsellino and Kuzan both stood frozen in shock, while Sakazuki felt that it is what should be. There is no substitute for sacrifice to rid the world of the threat of an ambitious and abnormal person like Rob. The damage that Rob has done to him in this volume is not small. He is now like a full-fledged madman in the eyes of his partners and subordinates. So without realizing it, he hated Rob, even though he was enjoying his manga.
Maragoa.
The celestial dragons stared at the live broadcast in shock before they exploded in anger.
Who did this? Do they want to kill Rob-sama? Unforgivable. We will not allow anyone who wants to threaten Rob-sama's life to get away with it. Damn it! Who's going to draw manga and manhwa if something happens to the author-sama? Who is going to make the anime for us? Your mother?
I heard Rob say it's the head of the government trying to kill him.
I heard that too. Let's go to the 5 elders, they need to give us an explanation. We are all celestial dragons. This is unacceptable. Rob-sama is a red line. He's the author of One Piece, what the hell? In the Pangaea castle, the atmosphere was rather unusual. What just happened? The tall Gorosei asked with confused eyes. What happened? The Lord made a move. The bald Gorosei calmly replied, but his comrades could notice the trembling of his hand holding the teacup. Oh my God. If this is a dream, wake me up. The blonde Gorosei put his hand on his forehead to calm his sudden headache. This isn't a dream. Wake up to reality, partner. The Lord took a decisive step and didn't even tell us.
She hadn't done such a thing in a long time.
The Gorosei wearing the hat said with a sigh. Now, we just have to accept it and try to fix all that.
I didn't expect Enies Lobby will disappear from the map along with the Sky Sword Rob. I expected that the Lord Emu would take a personal move and kill him, but from now on we have to work even harder to get past this matter and erase it from the pages of history.
These 3 years in the Sky Sword era have been fun and painful. From now on let's be careful not to allow a second Sky Sword to appear in this world. The mustachioed Gorosei said it all in one breath. Be careful not to question the Lord about this. We have no right to do that. Remember this well. Egghead Island. Punk 1.
Old man Vegapunk's face turned red in anger, as he couldn't control himself when he saw the scale of the destruction caused by the world government. There is no sign of survivors. What Punk 1 said made Vegapunk even angrier. No, I have to calm down. I need to get rid of these damned human feelings since I got rid of the justice in my heart. I can't think very clearly as long as I have the feelings of humans.
Punk 1. Zoom up and focus on that huge dark orb on top of the white blast ball. Understood. HM. What is this?
Under the iron mask, Vegapunk's eyes noticed something weird amidst the huge explosion. A greenish-black light. It was so small at first. So small that the human eye couldn't notice it, but soon it started to get bigger. 1 meter. 2 meters. 10 meters. In the end, the attention of viewers was completely drawn to an unusual event. A black-green light in the shape of a gigantic galaxy appeared above the white blast ball. The scene seemed disconcerting to the viewers, who were weeping, thinking that Rob had died in the explosion. Rob stood in an unusual demonic form in the sky. His clothes turned into an all-white uniform extending along his body divided by a black line, and a hole appeared in his chest, just below his neck. His black hair grew at a fast pace and became long and messy behind his back as white bones appeared above his head in the form of a head protector, the horns appearing to extend in 4 directions, 2 down and 2 up. The strangest thing was that his skin had turned as pale white as the color of his uniform, his pupils had turned emerald green and a black stretch of tears appeared under his both eyes, but the most strange thing was the appearance of 2 huge bat wings on his back.
Rob completely transformed into Alquiora in his Resurrección Murciélago.
But he's taller and stronger, and even Rob's facial features are still dominant. He was standing in the air above the galaxy-shaped green energy. When Rob pointed with his finger downward, the green energy started enveloping the white blast ball from all directions. Like a giant beast swallowing a giant egg. Behind Rob, two unconscious giants appeared surrounded by a protective field of spiritual power.
Chapter 317, A Big Words.
Rob looked up at the sky with a careless look when he felt a strange movement from the orb which looked like a weird-shaped spaceship. The air around the dark orb became unstable. The orb quickly disappeared from its place as if it had never existed before. It disappeared the same way it appeared in the beginning. Rob was someone who watched a lot of science fiction movies that featured spaceships. What happened now is something similar to the takeoff of a spaceship. Like a spaceship traveling with space-bending technology. Although he was greatly shocked about the existence of such a weird thing in this world, Alquiora's nonchalant expression made him unable to show the true expression on his face. The weapon that destroyed Eni's lobby and nearly killed him is a laser-powered planetary destruction cannon. With this level of power, only so-called ancient weapons can fire it.
Interesting.
What Rob didn't know at the moment was that his current form caused endless waves of shock among the Bleach fans who saw him.
O'Hara. The mask over his head, these black bat wings, this white outfit. This is definitely Alquiora from Bleach. Don't be an idiot, that's Rob Sama.
Look at his face.
He looks a lot like a Alquiora, but he's definitely Rob Sama. What do my eyes see? Am I dreaming? If there are group dreams, we certainly dream. What kind of power is this? This is the power of the gods.
You idiot, Rob Sama is a very strong man.
But the hell? I didn't even imagine he was that strong. Look, guys. Isn't that look similar to the form that Alquiora fought using against Ichigo in their first battle at Hueco Mundo? It's not similar to him, it's the same form.
The only difference between them is Rob Sama is taller and more physically strong, or else I would really believe that Alquiora left the world of Bleach and came to our world.
Enthusiasm. Excessive enthusiasm.
This was the headline of the atmosphere among Bleach fans at this moment. The first shock and confusion were soon to be gone when Rob showed off his new look.
Sigh.
Inside the art store, Alvia breathed a sigh of relief when she saw her husband come out from the center of the white blast ball safely and without even a scratch. Even when he transformed into Alquiora, she could still tell who was him at a glance.
Mommy. Daddy transformed into Alquiora. How did he do it? I want to become like Rukia, too. Little Robin waved her two little hands excitedly. Although she felt immense fear when she saw her father being overrun by those beams of energy earlier, she quickly breathed a sigh of relief, secretly like her mother when she saw him come out and save the kind giants Oimo and Kashiai as well. Ha ha ha. Your dad has so many secrets. When he comes back we'll bring all of those secrets out of him, okay? Alvia smiled happily and said.
In fact, the most important thing for her now was for Rob to get out of the world government's sudden strike with minimal damage. Same for Toki, who was terrified when she first realized what was going on. Being a person who came from the distant past and knew many secrets and tragic events that happened in the past, for her, the ancient weapons were gods on earth, their strength could not be escaped. What Rob did now was the first of its kind. Surviving an ancient weapon attack. Such a thing had never been heard before.
The One Piece manga was temporarily ignored, as most of the people interested in Bleach went looking for the Bleach books to find a picture of Alquiora in the form of Primera Etapa and confirmed their suspicions completely. South Blue, Sorbet Kingdom.
Outside the royal palace, in the palace garden.
Are you tired of being the main maid, Bonnie? Kuma looked at his daughter, Bonnie, who was sitting on his lap in her true form.
A 10-year-old little girl, this was her real age. Although physically her age didn't matter since she ate that devil fruit. But her father, Kuma, never forgot her true age. After all, the fruit of his first love as a teenager was the only thing left for him from his late wife. So that the world does not know that she is his daughter, Kuma decides to have her by his side, but each time she has to be a different identity. All this, so as not to enter the world government's radar because of her precious devil fruit. I want to stay as your little daughter for a little while longer. I am envious of what the Sky Sword did for his daughter, Nico Robin. She looked at her father with tears in her eyes before she said,
Dad, if there was no threat of the world government looming on the horizon, would you still not recognize me as your real daughter? What do you think of what happened so far in the live broadcast, Bonnie?
Kuma tried to change the subject towards the most important event, but this child was much more mature than her real age since she was used to acting like an adult all the time. If that damn celestial dragon hadn't seen me transform from an adult into a child at that time, we wouldn't have to go through all these plays.
It was my fault, wasn't it, Dad?
Whoa.
Kuma was in pain when he saw his daughter crying.
He wanted to calm her down, but what happened in the live broadcast after that caught his entire attention. What a huge hole.
Unbelievable. Back in Eni's lobby, Rob is no longer standing under the blast ball.
Rather, his energy swallowed up everything in sight, even the remnants of the explosion were not spared.
Rob stood over a gigantic abyss.
Eni's lobby had completely disappeared from the face of the earth and was replaced by an abyss much larger than the abyss that was below Eni's lobby before the accident. A whirlpool the size of a huge island below formed and swallowed up seawater like a primordial beast that had been thirsty for millions of years. Even Rob was shocked at how horrific the scene below was.
If someone somehow managed to escape death in the explosion, the fate that awaited him would be even more terrifying. Even Rob does not know the depth of the newly formed abyss in the place of Eni's lobby. Ah! My head hurts like hell. What happened? Ah!
Wake up, Kashi, we're floating. Suddenly, Oimo woke up and found himself floating in the air with Kashi, and beneath them a gigantic sea vortex sucking seawater in incredible quantities. From time to time some large sea kings could be seen being sucked into the abyss.
Who are you, the small devil? Why do you look familiar? I'm Rob. Congratulations, you have escaped certain death. Ha! I remember now. What? Eni's lobby has disappeared.
Rob shook his head sarcastically. The intelligence of giants is really slow. Rob removed the Ulquiorra template and went back to his normal human form to confirm the Pirate World residents' shocked guesses before looking in the direction of the live broadcast and speaking. I told you it's not easy to kill me. I'm talking to you, Lord of the Empty Throne. From now on we're enemies, only one of us should stay in this world. A crazy person like you doesn't deserve to live. Your government doll, I'll break it up sooner or later.
Your rubbish secrets I will reveal one by one. Just get ready. Chapter 318, Level 17 of the system. I told you. It's not easy to kill me.
Rob's eyes flashed with intense killing intent. He had never felt such a threat before. He had to take so much damage to protect Oimo and Kashi and had to die again. If he wasn't a true immortal, he would have really died without hope to return.
I'm speaking to you, Lord of the Empty Throne.
Such big words could arouse the suspicion of all the inhabitants of the pirate world.
Who could this Lord of the Empty Throne be? Is the empty throne not empty? But Rob didn't care about people's suspicions.
All he wanted at this moment was to get all the grievances in his heart out. The sky above Rob again turned cloudy with thick lightning rumbling from time to time. This time it was an unintentional release of Conqueror Haki that caused this terrible scene. Even the giants behind him were tensed by his violent mood at this moment and shrank in fear. His Haki had made the race of giants, who don't know what fear really is, to be afraid.
From now on, we are enemies. Only one of us should remain in this world.
Lightning erupted at this moment to give an emphatic character to his words. This scene made all the viewers sweat and know who Sky Sword Rob really was.
This time a new title appeared for Rob. God of Lightning.
No one knew who first said this title, but it spanned ages to become just as valuable as the title of Sky Sword.
A crazy person like you doesn't deserve to live.
Your government doll, I'll break up it sooner or later.
Your trash secrets, I'll reveal them one by one, too. Just be ready for what's coming.
When Rob finished saying his words, he cut the live broadcast and left the people who watched it to their own thoughts.
From today onwards the world will enter a new era. The era of the Cold War between two major poles.
After shutting down the live broadcast, Rob spoke with the system on his mind. Olive, turn on the level 17 feature, bringing attention back to the art right away.
Understood. The system has been upgraded.
Level 17 of the system, 24565/2700000. Plus 1 dimensional art store. From now on you'll get only plus 1 with every level up. Art stores available to use, 81/111. The bringing attention back to the art feature has been added to the art store. Bringing attention back to the art, mental ability. Congratulations on unlocking a rare ability of the art store at level 17. By activating this feature, the store owner can bring the attention of the people who bought your art collectively to the art they bought from you, without any side effects, and in smooth ways, without knowing that. They'll find themselves again enjoying the art in their hands without caring what is going on around them. The effect of the feature on customers' minds lasts only 1 hour. What an OP feature. Rob looked behind him and found the giants Oimo and Kashi had retrieved their giant books from their pockets and refocused their attention on the manga events even when they were floating in the air. He would be lying if he said he wasn't surprised. This ability sounded like hypnosis on a global level. The moment he activated this feature, the art points began to flow into him again after they had stopped previously.
And in large quantities. Marigoa, Pangaea Castle.
Even after hearing all those harsh words directed at her, the smile on Imu's face didn't fade away, but the smile on her face grew more and more.
Great. That's great. Is that a strange power from another world? Bleach, huh? How many secrets are you hiding from me, Rob-chan? Fufu Mohan hahaha. Interesting, this is getting even more interesting. Lord of the Empty Throne, huh? Ha ha.
The third eye on her forehead turned bloody from the intensity of anger, but in an unnatural scene, the smile on her face seemed very lively and real. If Rob saw the redness on her cheeks without paying attention to her third bloody eye, she would instantly remind him of a famous female anime character.
Yumiko Jabami from Kakagurui.
Not only that, confronting one of her most powerful weapons with his body, but saving 2 giants from inevitable doom. Such a feat from her new enemy made her feel so excited that she felt like she was about to reach her climax from the excessive excitement. She removed her royal robe and revealed her sensual body to the air, before throwing the map in her hand away, when she almost threw the manga book away as well. At this moment, she felt an unexpected interest in this book, a great desire to complete reading its events took over her mind. Unknowingly, she decided not to throw it and left the garden, entering her room before closing the door behind her.
You want to break my doll? Then try.
In the government hall, the mood of the 5 elders was not as complex and incomprehensible as that of their lord, Imu.
They were angry.
So angry that their faces were distorted by anger. Rob's words in the live broadcast caused them to shiver in fear that quickly turned into fury.
Son of a bitch. He knows about the Lord. Impossible. How dare he say that directly? I want to skin him alive. How dare he challenge the Lord with such extreme insolence? Who thinks he is? How did he even survive? What the hell? He was completely bombarded by an ancient weapon. That's impossible.
Overshadowing their realization of the situation, the 5 elders were very angry after all.
Rob's last words were very dangerous for the world government.
Because through them many intelligent people would realize that the world government is hiding a lot. Only the Lord of the Empty Throne, that Rob casually said, caused an unprecedented public commotion.
Because everyone knows that the empty throne exists because it is empty. How can it have a lord?
People like Dragon, Garp, Sengoku, Whitebeard, Shiki, Kaido, Linlin, and other strong people instantly understood what Rob's words meant, which made their minds enter into a whirlpool of chaotic thoughts that only stabilized by the 17th level feature of the system. People like Roger and his crew who know almost everything about the Void Century are not surprised by Rob's words because they already know that the empty throne is not really empty. But after Rob declared war against the world government, they would not stand idly by, which is why Aro Jackson changed direction towards West Blue, and exactly towards Ohara.
It's time for them to join hands with their former crewmate once again to overthrow the oppressive government.
At this moment, the level 17 feature was activated, and without realizing everyone entered the art store on the ship to enjoy the manga again.
They had an assumption. The fun events weren't over yet. Ohara. Roji. We have to get off the island now if they catch us. The angry residents.
They'll surely kill us. I also don't dare stand in front of my sister Alvia after what happened in the manga. Inside their house in Ohara, Nico Oren was very terrified. Not only he, even his wife, Roji, was scared. The way they treated Robin in the manga has officially made them the most hated family in Ohara.
No, in the whole world.
If chat rooms were open, curses to them would cover all forums.
And this was really going to happen. But we didn't do anything. Our version's in the manga who do it all.
Roji said while trying to silence her crying daughter.
Didn't you learn from the previous lessons?
Everyone now believes in One Piece as the real thing.
Everyone who heard Nico Robin in the manga will be criticized by the whole world. Even her mad father declared the war on the world government. Chapter 319, the volume isn't over yet.
When he finished the live broadcast, Rob activated a new feature he had acquired several months ago. With this feature, he won't have to worry if one day he regrets his decision to open back an art store to a place it doesn't deserve. Level 14 feature, Cancel Art Store, cancel summoning now. You can cancel summon any art store you previously open it.
Olive.
Cancel up the art store fake government ship currently at Marineford.
Understood. Marineford.
After the store screen disappeared, Sengoku ordered his soldiers to transfer the ship containing the art store from the sea into the land. After all, the ship had an extremely vast art store on its deck. Like any art store in the world, everyone knows the benefits of having an art store nearby. Despite the tense situation between the art store owner and the world government, everyone agrees that the art store is a divine item. But as the ship was being moved to the land, a bright golden light shone over the stern and an unusual silence ensued. The art store disappeared from the ship.
What? The art store disappeared from the ship? How did that happen? Fuck you. Sky Sword Rob.
When Sengoku received the news, he almost passed out. The cascading shocks he received today almost turned him crazy. Even what they thought was their only profit from the Vice Admiral kidnapping accident was only temporary. He used an art store with a total value of 1 trillion berries in the black market as a means of conveying his letter to Navy headquarters.
It's the most expensive building in the world.
What a waste.
Wahahaha.
Despite everything that has happened, Garp still laughs as if nothing had happened. But in fact, in his heart, he was so angry at the government that had wiped out so many of the Navy's forces' lives. Not only him, but were Zephyr, Kuzan, even Borsalino, Sengoku, Tsuru, and most of the vice admirals and high forces of the Navy so angry secretly.
Sir. Not only that.
A lot of our mates have taken off their Navy uniforms and left Marineford. They all said the same line, "I'll not serve such a government anymore, I'll become a hunter." As if expecting this to come, Sengoku pressed his hands until the sounds of bone cracking were heard. Suddenly, he looked toward the manga book on his desk. Everything that has happened so far has been because of this book. He took up it and opened it again, still not done with it yet. Same for Garp. Even he felt a weird urge to know what happened at the end of this arc. Will his idiot grandson succeed in saving his crewmate? This is exactly how the higher forces of the Navy once again immersed themselves in the manga events, unconcerned with the fiery events they are currently experiencing in real life. As if they are sitting on a hot plate but haven't felt the heat yet. The feature of level 17 made them completely forget about reality. The same thing inside the walls of the world government in Marigoa. For an entire hour they forgot all the struggles they got. For an entire hour, the chaos that had already exploded temporarily stopped. The most important thing right now on the minds of people who previously started reading manga is to complete the manga. Even the people who tried to escape from Ohara after the fact that they harmed Nico Robin were confirmed in the manga. People like Robin's uncle, Nico Oren, his wife Roji, and the parents of children who called Robin a monster, also people who refused to board her on the evacuation ship. All those people who appeared in the manga no longer have a face to stay on this island. But all of that has to wait until they finish reading the manga.
Inside the O'Hara art store,
Little Robin stared confused at her mother Alvia and her other mothers, Toki, Sora, Bella, Otoheim, and Glora, who had stopped arguing excitedly about her father's amazing looks in the Ulquiorra template and opened their manga volumes and started reading it silently.
All of this suddenly happened.
Even that gentle fat man with orange hair and a weird cute laughway stopped talking to her and went back to his seat to continue reading the manga. It wasn't just them, but most of the people inside the art store. Only for people like Little Robin who didn't buy today's volume, the new feature didn't affect them.
Little Robin looked at the shelves of One Piece volumes and swallowed a mouthful of saliva tensely.
One Piece anime was currently at the beginning of the Sky Island saga, but Little Robin knew that the manga of One Piece had at least a few arcs past that. When she was about to sneak away to get some volumes from the Sky Island saga, she suddenly remembered her father's words.
"You are not allowed to read One Piece manga until I give you my permission."
Her hand that was going to pull up the book off the shelf stopped in the air and immediately turned to return to the games room. She felt that her father was protecting her from the events of this particular volume. Perhaps her father wanted her to prepare more so that she would not be too affected by her story in the manga.
A cute smile appeared on her little face. "Dara Shishishi. It's time to go back to playing Grand Theft Auto 5.
That was the sound of her laughter as she returned to her father's private section.
Equals 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 equals. Manga events.
Fukuro stood in the air using Jeppo to get in the way of Luffy and the others, but in the next moment, he said a few provocative words before running away.
"I'll just toss this key into the sea. Choppa Papa. We're just giving you a chance. See you."
His words succeeded in provoking Luffy, who tried to run after him.
"You. Wait. NGG.
But Zoro, who grabbed him by the rubber face, stopped him.
"Hey, wait. You, wait."
Sanji calmly looked at the scene, but in his mind, he had meticulously analyzed the situation.
"If that pigeon guy with Robin-chan, we can just let Luffy go ahead." Sanji looked at Luffy and spoke. "Luffy.
Just go and beat up that pigeon guy.
Excluding Luffy, there are 6 of us.
We'll find the 5 CP9 that are here, get all 5 keys for Robin-chan's handcuffs, and then meet with Luffy.
If Robin-chan enters the gates, it's all over. Time is very important here." Zoro nodded in agreement with Sanji on one of the rare occasions. "It's a waste of time to lose. So win, even if you die." "Yeah." Everyone agreed to that before running on different tracks. Luffy ran straight to find Robin, who was currently being led towards the gates of justice by Spandam and under Lucci's protection. "I won't let you to the gates of justice, Robin."
Along the way, Frankie collides with the first enemy and begins his battle against Fukuro.
"Choppa Papa. I'm Otanashi * no Fukuro who loves to gossip. Did you want the key?"
Hearing this, Frankie snorted in annoyance to confront such a talkative foe.
"Shit. Not before I refuel my cola." Equals 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 equals. The Straw Hats met their opponents and the final battles began to reach their peak.
Readers were very excited. So how will these battles end, and whether there will be any loss of life from the Straw Hats? After all, the enemies were Rokashiki's masters. Not only that, but powerful devil fruit users. Only future chapters will show the results.
Chapter 320, Zoro vs Kaku. The secret skills, Rokushiki, becomes public. Manga events.
After Frankie, Sogeking, and Nami clash with their opponents, Sanji had entered what appears to be a woman's room.
Ha! Ha! Shit! Nobody's in here, either.
But soon he was surprised by the sound of closing the door behind him, then he heard a female voice, which stimulated his happiness hormones quickly. The woman who spoke is the CP9 member, Khalifa.
Please make yourself at home. Would you like to have some tea?
Truth be told, Khalifa, who said that, sounded so sexy, even I, the author, would be excited, not to mention Sanji, face with tears of joy.
Ah.
Yesh, please. Love, yes, please. Sanji's eyes turned to heart, and he reverted to his old habits.
Equals 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 equals. North Blue, Germa Kingdom. This particular scene made most of the manga's male readers explode into fits of laughter. Ha 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 ha. Sanji is dead this time. His opponent is a sexy woman. Sha ha. It's not like you can win against a sexy female like her, too. Look what a sexy figure, her net stockings, her short clothes, her big boobs, and her pretty glasses. The hell? Do we have such beautiful beings in our world? I bet by my right kidney that Sanji will lose against her. Let's up from this pervert now. Zoro had met Kaku. What a battle it will be. Inside the art store Germa, such discussions took place all over. When everyone's attention returned to the events of the manga again, the discussions were limited to the manga's events as if the world had not just entered a global war. And this is the frightening thing about the extraordinary entity called the system. In the royal palace of the Germa kingdom. After he was plotting how to profit from the war between Rob and the world government, all of Vinsmoke Judge's thoughts suddenly disappeared and his focus returned to the events of the manga. In this arc, he was very interested in several things, most notably the blueprints of the ancient weapon Pluton, and the cyborg Frankie as well. But the thing that always bothered him about this manga and felt really unusual is this. That face. The hell? Why does he remind me of myself every time I see him? Not only does he look like me, but he also has the same actions as me. Is it possible that my son in the manga is Sanji? Impossible. For the first time, Vinsmoke Judge is starting to realize some hidden truths about the manga. This is because the similarity between him and Sanji is really great. It can't be. Maybe overthinking on my part. West Blue, O'Hara. The panic and confusion in this place due to the declaration of war against the government stopped and the enthusiastic discussions about the events of the manga returned to their peaks. After Little Robin returns to the games room, the manga readers were excited by the start of the fierce battles. Sora looked at Sanji's funny face and couldn't help but laugh gently, which caught the attention of the rest of the store goddesses, who also laughed. This Sanji. Isn't he a bit like you, big sister Sora? He has almost the same face as you. That's what I also noticed a long time ago. Me too. It's like the similarity between older sister Alvia and Little Robin in the manga, isn't it? Sora looked at Bella, Toki, and Glora in confusion. When she wanted to talk about how she really felt, Alvia interrupted the awkward conversation. Don't get ahead of events. Aren't see how many theories have been bombed by the husband? Ha ha ha. Belmere looked at Alvia and understood what she meant. He older sister is right. East Blue, Shimatsuki Town. I thought this green-haired kid has lost his sense of humor since he lose to that self-conceited guy in the manga, Mihawk. But look at him here and how excited he looks. Interesting. Shimatsuki Kozaburo looked at the scene of Kaku and Zoro meeting with an expectant look on his face. It's been growing, it craves blood. What a powerful line to describe a sword's willingness to taste enemy blood. This boy will become an extremely strong swordsman in the future. I look forward to seeing your future, the main clan's son. Equals 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 equals. Manga events. Kaku stood up from his chair before drawing his two swords. You're a scary man. But my swordsmanship is the best in CP9. Don't underestimate me. Zoro is surprised to see the two swords. Nitoryu, huh? Without saying any more, Kaku attacked immediately but was held back by Zoro with his two swords. Kaku didn't attack with 2 swords, but Rankyaku. 2 blades of sharp wind blew from his legs, destroying the furniture of the room. Sorry, but actually, Yan too. Zoro put his 3rd sword in his mouth and his aura completely changed from what it was before. No problem. Now, I remember that your whole body is a weapon. After he said that, a fierce battle began between him and Kaku, in intense melees that made the reader's enthusiasm across the ceiling. Equals 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 equals. Undoubtedly, the most exciting battle so far is Zoro's battle against Kaku, because the main battle in the arc between Luffy and Luffy has not yet begun. After seeing this battle, a bold idea appeared in the heads of some of the slightly strong readers from ordinary people. From them, pirates, even official hunters, unofficial bounty hunters, and even bandits and mafia members. These powerful physical skills that Kaku freely wields in his fight against Zoro. Maybe they can master them, too? Rankyaku, Saro, and Shirgan seem easier to master. From this moment onwards, the nightmare of the world government and the navy began. Their secret skills that they were boasting about became a general encyclopedia. Anyone with excellent physical strength, solid will, and great understanding can master it and become a Rokushiki master. After all, the battle between Zoro and Kaku gave them a lot of information and experience about these techniques. Not only that, but the previous and current battles gave them enough information about other techniques. That wraps up this part of What If Becoming a Mangaka in One Piece World. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.